How you doing, guys? The Novice back with another review. I watched Deathnote, the pilot. Right, it's one of those like animes that's just on my list of things to watch, and I thought, why not? It's on my Netflix list. Might as well get into it. Going into this, I already knew the face of I don't know how you say his name, but I'm gonna say it in English. So I'm gonna butcher it. Ryuk or Yuk or something like that. The that Shinigami, I think is how you say it. Japanese demon spirit person. So when the pilot opened up and they were in this world, I was like, what the hell is this? It's like the underworld or something, or hell. And I thought I was gonna see something like real like graphic scenes, but I just saw like a bunch of demons or whatever they're called, Shinigami, like gambling, like really made them hood rats. Like, my guys playing pound up on the corner, like, yeah, I got it, yeah. This thing guy is like, oh my days, this world is so boring. It's just like anime to make something so dark almost seem comical. Yeah, that just came into my mind. Not even watching the thing, watching it the first time, I just thought, oh, this seems kind of mysterious, like strange. But now I just really think about it, I'm like, of course they do that in anime, right? Um, and then after that, do you know what else I realized actually? Writing, even the name Shinigami, it feels that kind of love inside me of kind of the endless possibilities when you explore stories that involve kind of folklore, whether that's region by region, country by country, tribe by tribe. I, with all my heart, just want to see more movies, TV shows, animated things, whether they're mature, even to some degree PG, about folklore instead of Marvel and DC. Down with Marvel and DC, man, they suck. I'm so tired of like plot armor and stuff like that. But that's another story. But yeah, this that's one of the first pluses from this series is the folklore, right? So we're introduced to Light. I'm guessing that's the main character already. Again, I knew his name too. He's like a bored student. There's nothing like remarkable. He's no Peter Parker type. Oh, I'm this great kid. He is smart, like academically, but I'm just like young hopeful child. Or he's not even. He didn't even come across as a typical villain. It was just a guy. Both him and Ryu complained at how bored they were, and it just made me think of all of that the orchestral music. Do you know what I thought about Tim Burton when I heard the music at the start and it was like orchestral? I mean that to say, I'm guessing it was foreshadowing something ominous, right? Like something really bad's about to happen. And what do you know? Something really bad's about to happen. The Death Note literally drops out the sky. Can you imagine? I couldn't stop thinking to myself, wait, what? Did that literally just happen? Did the Death Note drop? I thought he was gonna find it in like this is me and my very like a Americanized kind of idea of how these things happen. I assume you had to go to like some graveyard or meet like the Ghost Rider. You had to meet the devil or something like that, and you sign a deal in blood. It literally dropped out of the sky. With no respect. Um, I'm gonna be looking at my notes a little bit just to let you guys know the rules. I take issue with some of the rules of the Death Note. Okay, I understand the first rule: if you write someone's name, they die, right? Within 40 seconds. I thought to myself a couple things with the rules. What if you accidentally misspell someone's name? Does that mean someone else dies? Or it just doesn't happen? Or does that mean that you die? You get the affliction? Um, I was thinking of an example, but I don't know. I couldn't think of a strong one. My best example comes from my critique of this rule. You have to think of their face as you're writing the name, or it won't take effect. Okay, if you're a mugger, a rapist, a serial killer who's covered their tracks to some degree, whether it's wearing a balaclava, like simple things. How do you know their face? And definitely, they're not gonna tell you their name. Maybe a serial killer, because psychopaths, maybe they like to leave a pattern that they're proud of. I'll get to that. But yeah, you know who I'm talking about if you've watched the Death Note pilot. But my point being that I don't understand how that could work on everyone. So it's almost like they want you to think about that. They want you to know that they fought the people who have created this. I'm guessing it's based on manga. The people who have created this anime, it's like they want you to know that they fought off a system, but don't think too hard about it at the same time. I'm guessing you have to have that suspension of disbelief, even though they've established rules to this world. Oh, and I couldn't understand. Someone explained this to me. They said at one point that people with the same name, let me write, people sharing the same names won't be affected. I have no idea what that means exactly. Is that like a reference to twins, or if you have like, if it was your dad's and it's like, I want to kill Robert Downey Jr., but I'm senior. Does that, wouldn't your son just die? Or I'm lost. Someone explain it to me. And also, I remember just thinking overall with the rules that they need to be more simplistic. Like just write name, cause of death, boom, dead. Do you know what I mean? 40 seconds. If you're raping someone, are you really gonna wait 40 seconds for them to die? Like the person, I'm not talking about. No, I'm confusing. I'm saying if you're writing someone's name and you know them to be like a known rapist, you're gonna wait 40 seconds while the person's being raped for the person to die. Get the heck out of here with that shit. You're like, die now. Oh, right, the cause death. No 40 seconds. Steven, died now, you rapist piece of shit from heart attack. Dead. Immediately. No wait period. I don't, kind of weird Amazon Prime shit is that? Some weird thing like 3 to 5 business days wait period. Some weird shit. So yeah, I'm not really about that with the rules. I think there's room for too much room for interpretation, right? And I could already tell when Light got this, things are gonna go horribly wrong, because here's the big message I got from this episode. Something that I've thought about for a while, that I would be such a supervillain if I had any kind of superpower. I would be the biggest supervillain. You know why? Because you have people who have superpowers, even the dark ones, quote unquote, like a Batman, like a Daredevil, they have to have some level of purity to do what they do in terms of their character and their minds. If there's any potential, like an average person who's a weak-minded person who falls easily to like corruption, you're Harvey Two-Face, right? You're the person who becomes a supervillain very quick. You get drunk off the power. I would do that, and I think I would be maybe in Light's position, that where I can just tell he's gonna go from thinking he's been killing criminals and wrongdoers that he deems are wrongdoers so far. But the first thing that put me off is when he said that he makes people who have harassed people and who he's deemed as wrongdoers suffer longer, and then he makes the criminals, like non-criminals, people who have been convicted in prisons. They showed like a montage of scenes. He makes those official criminals die like a certain death of heart attack, which is how people die if you don't specify the cause of their name in the book, the cause of the death in the book. But with people, wrongdoers, harassers, people who he's deemed as like kind of common criminal element, like minor criminals, I guess you'd say, he makes them die slowly and suffer. That doesn't make sense, but it does make sense because of the final scene that I love between Ryu and Light, when Ryu visits him in the world. And this is something that bothered me because I couldn't stop thinking, what kind of stupid idiot lives eternity with something as powerful as Death Note, and you just let it drop into the human realm? And he said, no, I dropped it for fun. I'm bored. And that's when it was that and something else later on that I'll get to that clicks for me. Japanese, this is anime. This reminds me so much of Greek myth, like Greek immortals that play tricks on. There's a book I read. I wish I did a book review for it. I still had my channel when I did it. There's a book I read called Mythos by Stephen Fry. You guys should read it when you have the time. And it comprises a bunch of like ancient Greek myths, various kind of tricks to myths where the gods do like gambles and so on with humans, or they curse humans. You can tell they're just bored. They live for eternity. They are bored people. They're adulterers, they're cheaters, they're liars. Even when they're not those things, they're too proud to admit that they are flawed. So they just they take it out on humans, other people around them. The Shinigami Ryu is basically the same, because he says, you know what, I'm not gonna take your soul. Whatever you think is gonna happen, it's not gonna happen. But just to let you know, you can give it to someone else, but you will forget everything you know about the Death Note. You'll forget it exists, and you also won't go to heaven or hell. Like, what the F? That's interesting. I want to know what happens to someone who has used the Death Note when they die. Because he said that his name, Light's name, when Light the day he dies, is going to go into Ryu's personal Death Note that was on his person. What the F is going to happen to him? Purgatory, I don't know. Maybe there's something worse than heaven and hell. You guys tell me. And then finally, when Light just speaks on his philosophy and how calm he was with Ryu being there, like, no, I'm glad you're here. I want to explain to you my philosophy. I'm doing, like I mentioned before, making deemed wrongdoers, common criminals, die by like suffering, slow deaths, and I'm making like convicted criminals, known criminals, die from heart attack. So they die quicker. The convicted criminals, known criminals, and deemed wrongdoers, harassers are gonna suffer. And he said he wants to leave his mark. That's why he's doing it. He's a confirmed psychopath. Just by chance, Ryu gave his thing to a confirmed psychopath. That's the sign. Like Cyril, I think it's in Killing Eve, the BBC show. You guys should watch it if you haven't. Where they confirm that people who are like that, sociopaths, they like leaving a mark on things like this. So ironically, you gave a book that causes murder to someone who should probably like be on that list of names. But obviously he don't care. Ryu don't care. So it's just a thing to him. Like, oh, this is interesting. Like, you're a psycho with this book of power. I'm just gonna sit back and watch. God damn, this is a Greek myth. This is why I love this. It's Japanese, but I mean the hubris. I think that's what you call it, where it's like a fatal flaw of the protagonist. Light is definitely gonna F up somehow. It's gonna get more and more personal for him, and I can't wait to watch. So yeah, that's it, guys. I loved the pilot for Death Note. I'm definitely gonna watch more. If you've seen it, tell me what you guys think down below. If you haven't seen it, would you watch it based on this review, based on my thoughts? Are you curious now? Let me know. Like I said, please thumbs up this video, share it with people around you if you liked what was in it, and feel free to check out some other videos. Other than that, salute to you guys. See you later.